Enough is enough.
All right, what's going on, guys? I'm back. If I sound out of it, I'm still recovering, guys. Now, the situation involving me, I know a lot of you have been asking, where have I been? Where is the content? Excuse me. I have been sick this entire time. I've been trying to fight this off literally for quite some time. I have literally been weak. I have not been in the same mental stability to put videos out there. Hardly in the same mental stability, even so much as pick up a controller and play. It's been affecting me drastically. So on the 23rd, hopefully I feel a lot better by then, and I'll be in a better mental state, okay? So I'm just throwing it out there. That's why I have not necessarily been as super energetic as I've been previously in the past. It's been affecting me on podcasts, all that. I've been gone mentally, to be honest with you. And to be fair, I wanted to get that out there to all of you before I even got into anything else here on the channel, okay? So today's video, I'm going to talk about Gears 5. Gears of War 5 obviously is a game that has been mixed, like in terms of reactions and reception from a lot of people, whether it be PlayStation or Xbox or you name it, okay? Microsoft came out and stated this is the biggest Xbox game of the generation when it comes to their studios. Now, me personally, I think it's safe to agree with that. And the reason why, Microsoft went the extra mile. I think this is by far the most they have actually went through when it comes to pushing a game, especially when it comes to the servers as well. So the Microsoft, not only was the marketing on point for Gears of War 5, I think we can all agree it was everywhere. You can find it damn near on on damn cookie boxes and whatnot. You know, Gears of War 5, you could not escape the marketing for Gears 5. It was pretty damn big for Gears. Okay, pretty big. But one thing you also got to take into account as well is that Microsoft was literally gifting Game Pass out here for free, virtually. $2, you get 2 months for Game Pass. Now, I don't know how to really, measure the success of this game at all, since Microsoft will not give you any sales numbers for the game like going forward. They're not doing that anytime soon, and they just announced they will no longer include gaming revenue or Xbox Live monthly users in their earnings report, and instead they're going to be focused on Xbox content and service revenue growth. So again, I don't know what we're going to get from Microsoft from this point. I don't know how they're going to do this at all. So there's that. Now, one thing that I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people saying that the game is not necessarily doing well and that Game Pass is a crutch for this game, and pretty much everybody rented it for free. So this is what they came up with, and this is the numbers courtesy of a few reliable sources, links in the description below. Okay? So in 2011, we look at Gears of War 3. Gears of War 3 did 323,000 in the UK, and these are physical sales, okay? In 2016, Gears of War 4 did 80,000 in the UK. Again, physical. As of 2019, Gears of War 5 did only 22,000 in the UK. Now, this can mean one of few things. One, more people are just buying into Game Pass, and let's say Game Pass is just surging with users now, right? They confirmed, this is what Microsoft is confirming. This is why they said this is the biggest game for Microsoft. They confirmed that 3 million people were playing Gears of War during the launch week. 3 million. There was no confirmed number of Game Pass sales or nothing. They just said that we had 3 million users, so this is clearly the biggest launch for a game. That's basically what they're saying. But one can argue, either physical media is dying when it comes to Microsoft, or Game Pass is getting this surge of gamers. I can tell you right now, I don't believe it's Microsoft just getting this huge surge of gamers. What I do believe, and this has been something that's clearly evident with a lot of games this generation, is gamer fatigue. A lot of gamers are not going to just buy the same game like they used to. You see it with Call of Duty of all games. A lot of people are not buying this next year's Call of Duty. Some people are invested into it, little kids, sure. But a lot of the hardcore, royal like loyalists are not buying this year's Call of Duty. They're skipping it completely for obvious reasons. So I think a lot of you can get the point. What's going on here, okay? Gears of War. What can I say about Gears of War 5 that I haven't already said in my review? Gears of War 5 is a good game. But unfortunately, it's still Gears of War. At its core, it's still Gears of War. It still suffers from the same thing. It still has the same things. It's got the same format, despite adding a lot of new things to the table and actually, incorporating a lot of cooler stuff. It's still Gears of War. And a lot of people need to understand that as well. Yeah, we can talk about Game Pass. We can talk about Game Pass being this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, we still have to look at it for what it truly is. And that's another entry in this series. And this franchise, believe it or not, despite all the entries, it hasn't necessarily been showing that it's been holding up it hasn't been holding up as well as a lot of people would like to believe. Gears of War 4, for a lot of people, really didn't do much for a lot of fans. It didn't do much. Gears 5, despite being a better installment, it's not necessarily changing the game if you think about it for the Xbox Game Studios. But I will say it is a good starting point for the new game studios going into next gen. So if they're going to push that type of level of content, we shouldn't have no problems. But I also agree, though, and I do stand by what I said in my review. I would love to see something new from the Coalition. And with numbers like this, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I just don't see it happening. Usually a lot of people get upset when you talk about game sales. The reason why people bring up game sales is not necessarily to brag. Now, some do this, but in realistic terms, right? When you see the game sales, this actually, puts faith in the actual publisher that this studio is not only profitable, but also a studio that you should be backing for more than just other projects. Look at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is known for some of the best and biggest titles that's launched for the PlayStation, right? They are literally the poster boy for Sony. We can agree, that's the poster boy for Sony. If it wasn't for Uncharted and all the other games, I guarantee you Sony would not have backed them for The Last of Us, which was a new IP at that time. This is what happens when you have games that sell. When games sell, this increases that possibility, and it increases that faith into the publisher to invest more into you and your future endeavors. This leads to more games. And unfortunately, Gears of War 5 is not necessarily showing that in the physical category. And with with Game Pass literally being given away for free. Now, my birthday was on August the 30th. All right. My birthday was August the 30th. Microsoft gave me a bunch of Microsoft points on my Microsoft account. And literally I had enough to get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate literally free of charge, pretty much. I didn't have to pay a dime for this. They gave me it pretty much for free. I didn't have to do this. And it kind of makes you wonder, how many other gamers have been given Game Pass for free? How many gamers have legit bought Game Pass? How many of you actually bought into the promotion paying $2 for 2 months? These are things you got to ask yourself when it comes to Game Pass. You have to ask yourself this stuff. It's cool on paper. It sounds great on paper. But one thing that is definitely for certain, Phil Spencer was dishonest with what he said in the past. Phil Spencer said that Game Pass leads to more game sales. That is definitely not the case when it comes to the situation. You guys already saw. I already broke it down. Here's the numbers again. I already broke it down. Gears of War is selling less and less and less, and Game Pass is not benefiting to anything positive in terms of those sales numbers going up, and instead it's going down. And again, you can say fatigue, all that, but I'm pretty damn sure Game Pass is definitely playing a factor as well, and these games not selling the way they should. It's tough, man. It really is tough to see this. It really is. But to add a little bit more context to this, I know some of you might go, man, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's got to be more to this, right? Okay. If Gears of War 5 sold 3 million, Like a lot of people actually believe that it's done 3 million. I see people championing it. Let's be realistic, right? Let's throw 2 games out here that we knew for a fact sold 3 million, and they even confirmed it immediately. God of War for the PlayStation 4, and yes, more videos will be dropped on that very soon. Bigger projects are coming back to this channel. I promise you, I will be focused on those. Aside from gaming news, my mind is made up. I'm going for it. Best believe it's happening. But to stay on topic, God of War for the PlayStation 4 sold over 3 million units in just 3 days on the PlayStation 4. Keep in mind, that's 3 days. That is 72 hours. 72 hours. If God of War is selling that type of, units in just 3 days, what is Gears of War selling in 3 days? You have to ask yourself this. You really do. Microsoft's got enough players to support 3 million at least, especially for this franchise. They got enough players. 40 million is more than enough players for you to substitute or for you to get the 3 million. I don't think anybody would disagree there at all. 40 million users supposedly is more than enough, right? It's more than enough. So where are those numbers for Gears of War 5? Where are those numbers? To add even more context to this, let's go to Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the biggest launch for Sony, sold over that. It sold 3.3 million in just 3 days. Are you getting where I'm coming from? Are you guys getting what I'm saying here? It's okay to be positive. It's okay to speak your mind about Gears 5. I spoke my mind. I know a lot of people said I've held back. I'm not holding back. Just being honest with you. Gears 5, I do believe is good, but even with Gears 5 being good in certain, categories, you just got to look at it for what it truly is in the merit. You know what I'm saying? You got to be upfront with this. Gears of War 5 is not doing the numbers that Microsoft clearly is exaggerating or is leading it to be. The way with a title like that, you would think the game sold like 6 million units. I'm just saying. You would think it sold ridiculously well. It didn't, and yet you don't see this. And I hate to say Game Pass is a cheap way of, measuring success. Even though Game Pass has been cool, Game Pass is just it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. Definitely a tough pill to swallow in terms of saying that this is the true measure for success in video games. It's a little tough to take in. Definitely tough. So those are my honest thoughts on the situation involving Gears of War. I know some of y'all have asked me about, how I thought about it. Well, there you go. Gears of War 5, despite being a good game, well, I guess you can just add this to the list of other games that, despite being good, it's not necessarily changing the thing, nor is it, really making people, change their minds. It looks like, so you can add that to the list like Cuphead, and that's my honest thoughts. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, until next time, this is Big Cloud Gaming, signing out. Later.